Hi, everybody. Welcome to Worldview 360. Erica here with Dr. Lena. Hi, Dr. Lena.
Hi, Erica, and hi, everyone who's joining us. Good to see you
Yes, good
guys
to
too.
see everybody. Thank you for coming and watching and commenting. And thank you to everyone in advance who watches this in repeat. Since you're ahead of me in time, I thought I would jump ahead of both of us in time and those people too. So it's been a week, Lena.
It's been full on, hasn't it? Even by the standards we've been forced to get used to. It's been epic.
It's been epic. And so I think that the thing to start with, there's so many things that in a given week, in a given day, in a given hour, we would identify as sort of our top line, but there are many top lines, I have to say. So I think the thing that I want to start with, if we could, is yesterday's election. We had primaries in, I think, 6 different states.
Yeah, it's been busy.
It's been busy. Oh, I hear somebody wants the stage.
Yes, someone's arriving, so it'll settle in a minute.
All right. So, I'm of course in California and am on pins and needles because we won't know maybe for a week or weeks who the winner is, which is crazy. But I will say that Xavier Becerra has done very well. And what's interesting to me is that Tom Steyer has done less well for all the money that he put, the billions that he poured into his race. So he was another Democrat, supposedly. But he's way back in third place. Looks like Steve Hilton, who is a Republican, is in something behind Becerra. So it could very well be that we have a Democrat and a Republican this time.
Yes. Excuse me just a moment.
Hi, everybody, meanwhile. Checking to see who's here. Santa Rosa, California. So you're probably on pins and needles as well. So I know that there was one big race that the felon had an interest in, and his candidate did not advance among the Republicans. The one he wanted didn't get.
Yeah, and he's had a few wins lately with candidates, but that's only to the extent then hopefully they will fall short when it gets to the big elections. So this was a two-way slap. If he thinks Ken Paxton's a winning candidate, good luck to him. But this one didn't get up, so that was pleasing.
That was good. I will say that, people always ask, what can we do? Vote like your life and liberty depend on it, because they do. So, for example, in Alabama, the Supreme Court, in its infinite wisdom, stuck its big foot into Alabama's race. This is the big Supreme Court in little Alabama's race, and have allowed the Republicans to redistrict, which essentially will remove one slot from a Black candidate. So they will now be down to one as opposed to two. It is, it's disenfranchisement on a huge scale. And really the only recourse that we as citizens have is to come out and vote, however inconvenient that is.
Yes, massively. The presence alone is so important, and it fortifies each other. But because the American voting system is so complicated and convoluted, it's really important to register. Like, don't take anything for granted. Register now. Help someone else register. Some states have closed.
If you are registered, make sure you're registered, because you might
don't assume. Actually make sure you're registered.
Right. As an aside, the same could be said of this platform and others, but particularly this platform, if you think you are subscribed to Lena and to me, make sure, because for whatever algorithmic reason, I guess we're supposed to chalk it up to the algorithm, people are finding, oh, wait, I'm not subscribed, or I'm not notified of when you put something.
Yes.
So you want to be sure that you're subscribed. Just click that button. If it's been unclicked, don't worry about it. Just re-click it and check it every time. And then the other thing is for notifications, click the all instead of personalized. Because if you put personalized for notifications, the algorithms will decide for you. They're your personal deciders.
Yes.
Personally should see. You don't want that. You want to be notified of everything that Lena puts up and everything that I put up, whether you watch it or not. You just want to be sure that you're notified, and of course that you're subscribed. So, I think that the voting people have taken a tip from the social media platforms, or vice versa, and there is this sort of surreptitious unsubscribing or unregistering of people. You want to make sure you're registered to vote.
So important. Yes.
What were you going to say, Lena?
Well, I was going to say we're very close now to the dreaded birthday.
Oh, the birthday.
The launch of the World Cup. It's all about to compress into these key dates.
Well, and in preparation, we have decorated the South Lawn with hundreds of porta potties. Portable
awesome.
Toilets. It's lovely.
Have they got gold doorknobs?
I have to say that they will be busy painting them gold between now and then. I mean, the place looks a mess.
It does look a mess, and I have zero confidence they'll actually pull any of it off. Let's just put aside what the thinking was behind these horrible things, like demolishing the East Wing and the 2,200 feet reflection pool and the ceremonial arch. I don't think any of it's going to be ready, because he only employs grovelers, not people who have any competence.
Well, it not only will it not be ready, but I'm sure we have all heard with great schadenfreude the implosion of his birthday concert.
Isn't it bliss?
It's so, first of all, the people he invited are from like the 90s. No shade to the 90s, but I mean, come on.
No, we were all there.
Yeah, we were all there. But and now I think some of people are a little more disingenuous than others, but they said, well, we thought it was we didn't realize that it was for him. We thought it was just like for the birth of the nation. It was the celebration of the 250th birthday. But they've all, except for Vanilla Ice, they've all
well, really.
But I have to say, I want him gone like everybody, but with a twist. I really, for his soul's sake, I'm nothing if not an altruist person. And for his soul's sake, I want him to know before he goes how we feel about him.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. To actually look in the soul's mirror, to invent a metaphor, and know you're hated by the majority of people.
To sit with his party hat on and
with his party hat on and a limp balloon.
Yep, and all the balloons and nobody coming to watch him.
And I don't know if he'll be able to stay awake through this event. He'll have to have some pharmaceutical help.
We haven't seen him for a week. We've heard his voice, and we've seen taped interviews with him, but we've not actually seen him since his third physical in 13 annual physical in 13 months. So I think I saw this in my cards that they had to do some or a variety of procedures on him that have left him in a certain state. I don't know, maybe a state where he is unpresentable. I'll put it that way. And
Depleted state, let's say.
thank you, a depleted state. And of course, we do think that the birthday boy should absolutely rest up so that he can fully enjoy, well, so that we can enjoy his chagrin when nobody comes to his party. It's going to be.
I know, and the fine print is even worse than the headlines in the sense, I come from a family of boxers. The men in my family were boxers,
okay.
so
I know
I get that world. You know, like, the point is, even the fighters are complaining because these are high-level superstars, and he wants them to fight outdoors. Now, it might be 100 degrees on that day in June. The other issue, which sounds petty but is actually significant for athletes, is insects zooming around. So even the fighters don't. So the musicians have cancelled. The fighters don't want to do it, and there's no audience.
And with that fetid water in that reflecting pool and all that, mosquitoes, I should think, would be a big problem. Mosquitoes.
Yes, and I hope it has a green algae bloom on the day. You know.
Well, invariably it will. Well, yeah. So we have the UFC fight. There is a structure that's been erected for the purposes of that fight that he says he would like to keep up permanently because it's
the claw.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm sure he's looking forward to that. I think, you know, the scary part, much as I do want to witness his embarrassment and degradation, is that because he is a malignant narcissist, and I know I'm supposed to say I'm not diagnosing anyone. Well, we all know I'm not a doctor. I'm not playing one here. But, you know, I've watched all the TV shows. I read all the articles.
That's right.
Narcissist, for a malignant narcissist, which I believe he is, entertainment purposes only and allegedly, the worst kind of narcissistic injury is to be humiliated.
Yeah.
And I think on June 14th, he will be humiliated.
I hope so. Like, he'll be protected as much as they can from that humiliation. Right. Look over here, Mr. President, look over here. You know, this person loves you, clapping seals. But they're going to have to drag people out of bus stations to get them on the seats.
Well, you know, they're dragging the military. Well, no, they're not dragging them. The military has been invited, isn't that nice, to the fight. However, they have to find their own way there.
Yeah, they might live in Albuquerque and they're expected to find their own way with
their own accommodations, and they have to meet a certain weight, height requirement. They have to wear a certain dress shirt, and it's the short sleeve shirt to show their muscles.
The muscles.
Right. So, yeah.
And there will be X thousand of them, I'm sure, who do, pass the audition and go.
Yeah.
But he was saying there was going to be 4,000 inside and 100,000 outside.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No.
The war, we should give a moment to the war. The war that was going to be over in a week, not only is not over in a week, there is no prospect of it being over anytime soon. We hear that that there was a big fight. Apparently, the felon has corroborated this. That he told Netanyahu off, saying, you're not supposed to be going in Lebanon. Stop that, and because Iran has set that as the condition for coming to the table, and so.
Yes, a ceasefire that isn't a ceasefire, the war that isn't a war, it's just this total disruption to the entire world because of this man's maladjusted fantasy.
And now I read an article by Robert Reich a couple of days ago, and then sure enough, what he said came to pass. He said, here's the playbook. The felon gets involved in something and it's all a big thing, and then it doesn't go his way, and so he gets bored. Well, what did the felon say? He's bored. He's bored. Well, he can be bored, but meanwhile now we're in a war and people's lives
I know.
are.
Yeah, and that's exactly the analysis. It's not a huge ideological moment in history or anything. He says, oh, is it still going on? I'm bored. How can I make some money over here? Can I sell more crappy phones? What can I do? You know, he's actually moved on from that, leaving. The problem is who's there in his stead.
Well,
and
good
you've got the real estate developers, Witkoff and Kushner, and Rubio stumbles into meetings every now and again. He's aged. Marco Rubio looks 10 years older than he did in January.
It's from walking around in those shoes that are too big. His feet hurt, so that makes him brown. So, of course, he has wrinkles. The good news is that in the House, they passed a war powers resolution.
Oh, I was astonished.
Which means that the felon has to ask permission. Of course, he should have been asked permission, as they say.
Yes, and they've blown it because he doesn't even know what Congress does or anything, and he's not going to take any notice.
Well, the Senate had passed it before. Now the House has passed a version of it, and 4 Republicans broke ranks to vote with the Democrats.
Yep.
And that's how it passed. So that's terrific. More bad news for him on his birthday during his birthday.
I know, and I think where it'll kick in is in the aftermath of all this, because he will do exactly what he's going to do and not do. You know, he hasn't gone to Congress for anything, really.
Right.
Not going to start now.
Right.
But it's grist for the court cases down the track, because just like Nixon, he swanned off into the sunset, and I think it was 28 officials or whatever who've got done in the aftermath. So it's important that Congress made the ruling, even though it's not going to change his behaviour.
Right. So before I go on to Bill Pulte, I wanted to talk a bit, because we have not seen each other, I don't think, since Pam Bondi's testimony.
Oh, it's delicious.
So Pam shows up. Now, if I had somebody cut my neck to get my thyroid cancer out, and I had to go the next week to Congress or anywhere, I would be like this with a turtleneck on. But no, she's got her open collared shirt with the pristine white bandage, and of course that's sort of a poor me kind of a look. Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of the MAGA badge, you know.
But what did she do? She threw under the bus Todd Blanche and also who's the other one? She threw 2 people under the bus.
I can't remember the other one.
Oh, the FBI guy, Cash.
Oh, Cash Patel.
So she said, when it comes to Cash, she said, well, I asked him to give me everything, and he didn't. Well, then what did you do when he didn't give you everything? I mean,
they're such victims.
Yeah, that's how she comes across, and then that's how she wants to come across. And then with the other one, with what's his name, Blanche, she said, I gave him total responsibility for handling this. She was the head.
Yeah. And no amount of weasel behaviour is going to save them in the end, in the sense that there's different court cases involving Pam Bondi. She's been done for how she handled and didn't handle the Epstein case, the weaponising of the DOJ. And she is not going to come out of this unscathed.
She won't come out unscathed. I'm sure she'll be disbarred, so that's good. Happy about that.
Yeah, but the problem, the American system. So she could be disbarred in one state and work in another or something.
Right. Yes, that's true. I do think that Todd Blanche, as you would say, I love that expression, will be absolutely done for. I think he will be sitting in stripes behind some bars eventually.
I think so, because he's reinforcing the corruption at a time. If they were remotely smart, or let alone care about the American people, they'd be quietly distancing themselves from him. They would be saying, yes, we'll do that, Mr. President, and not putting forward a case or something like that. But they are, and these cases are getting spat out of courts at all levels, because it's like a 15-year-old wrote these cases, these highbrow cases, whether it's for Jay Powell or Mark Kelly or any. I mean, they're just bad court cases. Letitia James.
Right. Well, okay, so you bring up Letitia James, but I wanted to say something about you said the court, something that was good that happened with the court. I can't remember what it is, but Letitia James. So as we recall, Letitia James is the district attorney in New York, and Lisa Cook, who is on the Fed, the board of the Fed, which is the body that decides whether the more, interest rates go up or down.
Mm-hmm.
The felon hates both of them and wanted to both persecute and prosecute both of them, not the least of which reason is that they are Black women. Well, what he did was to in order to get them, he did this, what he thought was clever thing, and he took the advice of a name that will become disgustingly familiar to us over time, took the advice of Bill Pulte, Pulte. He is in charge of housing and mortgages and all of that on the national level. He has now been appointed as the acting head of the DNI, which is, if you recall, Tulsi Gabbard's position. This is national intelligence. So the thing is, so Pulte came up with this idea of charging these women with mortgage fraud. Well, it didn't work. So that was a bust. Then they tried to re-indict. That was a bust as well. So he's not that good at thinking up big master plans. Not only, though, was that his position, and not only is that what he did already for the felon, he's got this new DNI position, which you would think would be a full-time job times 10, but he's going to keep that other job.
Look, he's so good at it too. So he can do both. These huge jobs. Awesome.
These huge jobs. Now, why of all the people that you could pick, why has he been selected? Because he's going to be the one who's in charge of, look, what does the DNI do? They see who's spying on us, and they spy back, and they keep us safe in the world, theoretically. His task, his mission is to keep the felon and company safe from the rest of us.
Yes, that's the only mission. And because they're in bed with the broligarchs, they wouldn't understand the technology, but they knew. So Peter Thiel, waving from Buenos Aires, and he's a nutcase. He is a serious nutcase, Peter Thiel. But back to this guy. So they've now got this advanced surveillance technology that they're going to employ on ordinary people.
And by the way, because 6 degrees of separation, it's not even 6 degrees. If you go and you watch Katie Fang, Katie Fang.
I love her.
Okay, well, she has a YouTube channel. I think it's Katie Fang News, but if you put Katie Fang in, Phang, everybody, in case you don't know. Well, she did a thing. If your sensibilities are easily distressed, maybe avoid this. But if you're a tough Australian, you can take it. She showed a video of this guy, Bill Pulte, where he's receiving an award. I'm just going to say it's disgusting. And I'm going to say it's not even 6 degrees of separation from some of the Epstein stuff. So this is the guy now who is going to be in charge of our. So look up Katie Fang. She did it today, this morning, and it's an awful video. He's a bad guy, and this is not a good thing.
No, and it's like all the key positions are given to loyalists, but in traditional fascist societies, they're ultra efficient with administrative stuff. That's one of the hallmarks of a fascist. So we have this mismatch between the fascist ideas of controlling the population and, these guys who couldn't run a bath.
What I call it, I may have said this here before, it is doing 20th century criming in a 21st century world. Yes. So that's why they're the cops that can't shoot straight. I mean, they trip all over themselves. So there's that. Now, you mentioned something, and I wanted to, what was it?
Albania?
Albania. Tell us about Albania.
Oh, Albania. So Ivanka and Jared are constantly flitting around the world looking for places they can destroy, and they found a new island, new for them, not for Albanians, and it's coastal wetlands, so it's very fragile, and they've been planning this resort. Now, whose money would they be using to do the resort? Who knows, but I put my money on Saudi money. Anyway, point is, mass protests in Albania against this proposal, and they've targeted Ivanka. So the cry is, Ivanka, go home. Ivanka, go home.
Good.
Oh my God.
And Little Albania. Good for them. Now they're located where? Near Italy, I know.
Yes, and it is the poorest country in Europe.
Yeah.
Right? It's extraordinarily impoverished. But the point is, again, like so much of this stuff, it's symbolic.
Yep.
So if Albanians can get out en masse, let's hope the turnout for the No Kings is massive.
And by the way, what day might that be, pray tell? Oh, the 14th, which is Friday and the felon's birthday. So I think that's terrific. I don't hope that these protests are not of the garden party variety, which means from 2 to 5 in the afternoon, but only if it's sunny. I hope. I do think that the sentiment in the country seems to be shifting. I think people are angrier because prices are high, gas is ridiculous. He says it's peanuts, but it's not peanuts. And I'm hoping that the tone of the protests is more insistent, more I'm not trying to incite things that don't need to be incited, but I hope we make it clear. Like, I hope he can't interpret that by accident as, oh, look.
And saying, oh, look at all these people who turned out for my birthday.
Hopefully he will understand it's the anti-birthday party. So,
and he might miss that. So it needs to be crystal clear, like you say. And it needs the baby Trump blimp like they use in the UK.
Yes.
I think comedy can be very powerful in belittling tyrants.
Right.
It's one way to get under their skin.
Yes. We are celebrating your birthday when you looked like that, and you still look like that. So there you go.
I truly don't see how these monumental things to his own greatness are going to be ready in time. I think the triumphal arch is going to have to be made of styrofoam or something, whipped up the night before. I mean, I don't know how it's going to look. I'm thinking globally here.
Not good.
These shonky things.
Not good. I mean, if he's capable of embarrassment, he will be embarrassed. But again, much as I want him to be embarrassed, it's important to remember that because that is the ultimate narcissistic injury, he will respond in a way that's not nice.
Yeah, I think the problem is, and this is lay psychology speaking, it's like he doesn't even have embarrassment in his limited emotional repertoire. So if he's wounded by a bad turnout or something like that, it goes instantly to anger,
right,
and displaced onto other people.
right.
It
right.
sort of bypasses that moment and goes straight to heads will roll.
Well,
just like some feudal nightmare.
No, that's true. Well, and what is overhangs everything, continues to and will continue to, is the e-files. I don't know if you saw Amanda Ungaro, but she's on Substack now, and she
okay.
was very direct and specific and said, no, it's not just so much a question of who introduced whom to who, it's a question of what were the circumstances. And she very clearly said in Portuguese, because she's Brazilian, and in English, that the felon met his blushing bride courtesy of Mr. E. And then how did Mr. E know her, according to Amanda? Well, because the blushing bride was an escort in his.
Yeah, but I don't know why people are surprised, in the sense, I can remember 20 years ago people saying Melania Trump was an escort in Manhattan before
Well, we've all
she
seen those photographs. We've all seen those photographs. That was before.
And that was as they were unfolding. That's when she was the young thing, etc., etc. But it was a known entity.
Well, again, I think, you know what, the 80s and the 90s, as you know, they were a different time.
Yeah.
Not to mention, she was not the first lady twice over.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, the Epstein stuff was in full bloom, but I didn't know about it, and you didn't know about it. And now we do know about it. Apparently, Ivana, the mother that's buried in
the golf course,
of course, was very close friends with Ghislaine, and they would ride up and down the avenue where the girls' schools were. And I went to one of those girls' schools. I have people I know who were brought into that whole thing, and they rode up and down and looked for prospects. I'm not saying that Ivana was looking for prospects, but I could see Ivana saying, "Oh, that's a pretty girl."
Yes.
Elaine to go approach. So that whole world, I mean, they were all
a very small world.
Very small. So of course, the next thing is going to be that Amanda Ungaro will say that that young woman that is running around, she's in her, well, she's not that, she's in her 40s, and she is a DJ, international DJ. They're saying that she is the child of Melania and Zampoli.
Yes.
And that Zampoli essentially raised her, saw that she was raised, that Melania just sort of dropped her and went into the rest of her life.
Yes, and it sort of has a ring about it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was upwardly mobile at that stage.
That's right.
Didn't want her wings clipped.
Right. This would have been an inconvenience. So
yes.
Now, again, but you make a very good point, which is, given that we are in the midst of everything we're in the midst of, there is a degree to which hearing all of this is like a big yawn. Like, tell us something we didn't know or couldn't have.
Yeah, like I think it's hugely important that she has spoken out like she has, and it's all over the. It's massively important. But at the same time, it's not news,
No.
but it's like waves, because people absorb things at different rates. They then interpret them through their own lens.
Mhm.
They then spit back on things they don't like. So it's part of a wall of what these people are really like that is important.
Yeah. Well, again, the e-files aren't going anywhere. I think
No.
it's only going to get worse for him. I think Republicans are finally starting to see him as the lame duck that he is.
You can feel that shift, can't you?
Feel the shift. Yep, you can feel the shift, and that's good. So speaking of feeling shifts, I wanted to, before we run out of time, I wanted to talk a little bit, and then we are going to pull cards on a question that a viewer has. So we'll get to that in a minute. But we are in the shadow of this 250th birthday of this country.
Oh.
And it has put me in mind of the words of Ben Franklin, who, when the Declaration of Independence was signed, and it was at 5 something in the evening on the 4th of July, someone said to him after the fact, so what did you exactly do here? What has been accomplished? What has been created? And Ben Franklin's words are just prescient. He said, what we've got here is a republic if you can keep it. If you can keep it. And keeping a republic depends on the goodwill and the participation and the honesty of everyone involved. And what we are seeing is a dismantling on a grand scale. I wanted to say that my partner said that they had read something where someone was talking about Americans. They had met some Americans, and one of the things that they found just so endearing was how positive and confident they were. Now, that is cute. It's positive. It's endearing. We have taken it to an extreme. Now, who in life do we know who is positive and confident, and it's not going to happen to them because they know everything? I would say anybody between the ages of 14 and 20. We are a very, very young country. 250 years sounds like a long time, and it is a long time.
Oh, it's nothing in human history.
Nothing. It's
nothing. Absolutely nothing. And Australia's in the same position. We're 20 years behind you. We're 5 minutes old.
Yes.
And it's all about learning lessons.
Yes.
Or paying big, big, hefty prices for not heeding the lessons of history.
Exactly. And this is what we're presented with now. I mean, on one level, it's terrifying and it's scary. On another level, it is so exciting to be able to say, I lived in this time. I helped us figure out what it meant to be a more perfect union in this time. And we've got, for example, in Alabama, the Supreme Court has said, not in Alabama, but the actual Supreme Court of the United States, the 3 good ones and all the rest of them. Yeah. But the 3 good ones didn't agree, obviously. But the justices said Alabama is allowed to redistrict so that there's only 1 representative when there should be 2. Now, that sounds like a small thing, but it's not. And they should not have interfered, but they have interfered. And that's why I'm saying if we don't get out and vote, I don't know. We need to pay attention.
If we go back to basics, the basic triad of the Republic was 3 co-equal branches of government. And we've seen this man demolish, with a corrupt Supreme Court, a hopeless Congress until half an hour ago. They did something, but really hopeless. Mm-hmm. And executive power out of control.
And then the 4th branch. There is a 4th branch, which is the 4th estate.
The 4th estate destroyed, and destroyed themselves. they all kowtowed because they thought, oh, what if he turns on us? What if he did turn on you? That
Right.
would have been better
Right.
than you saying, take me now, take me now.
Right. Right. Right.
The 60 Minutes debacle is interesting. What
Very.
moves people is always endlessly fascinating to me, that they don't see all these things, but they might get upset over 60 Minutes.
I think Scott Pelley was a hero in this whole thing.
Yeah.
He staying there was going to be untenable. They were going to fire him anyway if he didn't bend the knee. So he took the bull by the horns and made that statement and put it in writing and stood up in that meeting and gave them what for. I think it is just terrific. 60 Minutes is quite the flagship program. It was the
Oh,
top
it's
news
been around forever,
for 52 years. It was the
Yeah,
top
yeah.
news program,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
So if that moves people, well and good.
whatever it takes,
It's sort of, people have to, again, like we always say this, they have to feel the pain themselves, not our viewers, of course, who are sophisticated and get
right?
all this. But it's really important. And if 60 Minutes does its bit, the collapse of 60 Minutes, I should say, because that's the other thing, Erica, about these people. They insist on taking over things and then they can't run them.
Well, that's right.
So it's not as though,
But they're
because
not.
there's no more room. Fox took over the right-wing space and made all the money there was to be made
Right.
out of that space. Doesn't matter what the others do, they're going to lose money. And now part of the kickback this week was Trump's name having to come off the Kennedy Center.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing to behold. But the point of that, so he goes in, he stacks the board, then all the real acts that are the heart and soul of the Kennedy Center either couldn't perform there or wouldn't perform there. It's gone into liquidation.
I will say, I know, but I think I'm not worried about it. I think it will be reconstituted once he's
gone.
gone.
It'll have to be, and it will. But I'm just saying they sell themselves as these business doyens, is my point.
No, and they're not. They're
really, really bad at business.
Because they're there to destroy. They don't think about, and what are we going to put in its place? That's the part that they really.
It's what can I extract?
That's right.
Leave the hollowed out shell.
Right. Right. Okay. So two things, but one of them was we have a viewer question, and I think this is an important thing, and there's so much to pay attention to. It's hard to keep track of everything, and we must sound like, I don't know, gerbils or something sometimes. But anyway, a viewer has brought us back to something that we discussed at one point, but there certainly has been no resolution or explanation of it, and that is the disappearance and deaths of all of these scientists. These are the scientists vary in age from quite young to in their 60s. They're all involved with very important projects, the government projects. You look like you froze. Did you freeze?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. And they've all of a sudden disappeared under very odd circumstances. Some of them.
It's a lot of them.
A lot. It's a ton.
Does anyone in the comments know? 12, 13?
I think we're up to 14 the last time I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm just seeing all in the comments. But anyway, the question was, what happened? Is anybody looking into this?
So I haven't heard of any inquiries.
Well,
are they all American or different nationalities?
I don't know if they're different nationalities, but they all work in the American science field.
Yeah.
They've all disappeared or died in America, or
Yes.
last seen,
It's
we'll just say, in
the
America.
weirdest thing. And I don't know that it's necessarily related, but this disrespect for science that's going on and made worse under RFK Jr., of course. But
Well,
scientists are seeking asylum in other countries. This is a different issue. I don't want to crowd what we're reading on. But American scientists are trying to get out.
you know what? I don't know if it's, well, I think some of it's disregard for science. Like if you take RFK Jr., for example, that's disregard for science. I think it's more than that, though. I think that part of it is that physics, the field of physics, and metaphysics are showing themselves to be the same thing. And
Oh, that's really interesting. Yes, I think you're onto something there.
so some of what
Definitely.
these researchers were doing was things like, is there really death? Does consciousness survive after death? Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
both a physics and a metaphysics question. Um, if consciousness does survive the body and all the attendant the issues that can bring up from that, that's a threat to religion.
Big time.
Because religion, people forget. Okay, I had a viewer ask me this question. I think this was interesting. They said they sent me an email, I think, and then asked me if I would speak on it on air. So I'm going to bring it up now. So here's what they said. They said, Erica, you said that Trump was sent here to be, to stir things up, to hold up a mirror to us, to show us, the worst that we can be so that we can choose to be the best. So if that's the case, who sent him? And did his soul accept the mission? And should he perhaps not be blamed because he's doing a service to the world? And so here's what I want to say. All of that language about him being sent, right? This is metaphorical language that only approximates what really is. I think that the language of the universe, and this is what I'm tying it into the scientists, so it's not I'm not off on a tangent.
Yeah, no, go for it.
The language of the universe, science tells us, both physics and metaphysics tells us, is vibrational. So did somebody call Trump's soul to the throne, the foot of his throne, and said, Trump, kneel down, and do you like my beard? And this is Jesus at my right hand. And we have a mission for you. And the mission is you're going to go, no, that's not what happened. Because there is no guy on a throne with a beard with somebody at his right. That's not how it works. Everything is vibrational. This is just my opinion. Okay. If everything is vibrational and we have been vibrating on this planet and most specifically in this country in a way that is not life affirming, we'll just say, the universe will have a response. If the universe's language is vibrational and we're vibrating at some weird level, in order to right that, to correct that, it's as though we ourselves manifested someone like him to come.
Yes, and I think just as we as a collective need to take responsibility, if we look at climate change and again the pillaging of continents that has gone on for centuries in this way, that we can't stop poisoning the oceans, poisoning the skies. The billionaires want to jump over all that to the planet. Now we have the brain power to have sustainable, renewable energy everywhere. And we could be doing that. So I'm not pointing fingers at each of us in this community, because God knows we've been working really hard for decades to bring people's awareness. But to come back to your point about Trump, contracts to me are, we still have a choice whether to ignore the contract, live it out, and then not get anything from it and have to do it again,
Right.
or transform because we did elect to experience this and move to a higher vibration, to use your analogy.
Right.
So
Right.
we've just been vibrating here, which is consumerism, and it's all about me, low vibration stuff. We've all got to elevate.
We have to, and ignoring it is not going to make it go away. I will say, you mentioned energy and renewable energy and not relying on fossil fuels. That is also what some of these scientists, by the way, were working on. So some of them are working on consciousness and what constitutes consciousness in a vibrational way, etc. Others were working on this renewable thing. And think about it: who wouldn't want us to stop? Who wants us to stop using renewable energy? Whatever. In other words, whom does it serve to have us use fossil fuels? Whom does it serve? It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve the people at large. It serves that oligarchical class. And so I think there are probably various threats that these scientists posed. And I think that it was the nature of their research that has caused them to disappear. They know too much, or so whoever it is has taken their knowledge, put it in a vault somewhere, or sold it, or did whatever. But now you have to get rid of the great mind that conceived of the thing. So
yes, and this is not new either, because for decades, when somebody came up with a good idea, whether it was, I remember a young African girl found a way to use water to get the engine. Anyone who came up with a good idea over the last 50 or 60 years, the idea was bought up.
Yes.
And parked so the fossil fuels could go on.
Yes. Yes. It's not like they buy the idea to implement the idea. No.
They
park it,
take it out of the realm.
Take it out. That's right. So I'm not even going to pull a significator, which would mean pick a card that represents this issue. I'm just going to let Spirit pick all the cards for me. I'm going to
I'll do the same.
What happens?
So what's behind the dead and missing scientists?
Yeah.
What's behind that? What is behind?
Okay, here we go. Okay, I have the letter. I have the cross. I have the scythe. I have the house. And I have the fox. It's essentially what we said. They have information that was problematic for them to have. Probably life affirming to humanity, but a problem. And so they look what's in the center. This is the card for murder or suicide. And by the way, suicide, I probably shouldn't say that word on YouTube, but anyway. Doing away with oneself. People can be coerced to do that. I don't think any of these people woke up one day and said, I think I'll do this to myself. No. So they were unalived is what happened. And then we have this, look, the house and the fox. I don't like this. This stands for the White House. And I don't think this is the felon doing it, because he doesn't have the brain power.
No, it's too big for him.
People in his administration who have ordered this, and they are up to no good. And because it's a fox, and a fox is tricky and sly. And I can look at that card together with this. This is the information that those scientists got from their research. So, I mean, they have been done away with. They have been disappeared because they have information that is not that is absolutely in the public good, but does not serve the interests of the people who want to control the public.
Well, what I've got, it kicks off with this Ten of Swords, and I think they were trying other things, possibly for years, on the back burner, different ways of trying to stop this coming out, like maybe withdrawing research funding or other things. My point is, they tried a lot of things till they got to this stage.
Probably coerced. They probably said, "We'll pay you to stop doing
Hello, right? Totally. Crossroads. I think they approached each of these.
Yep, I agree.
Right?
Yep.
And said, you can work for us.
Yep.
That's working for us with this Four of Wands, this Eight of Pentacles. Or not. In which case, we can't be responsible for what might happen in the dead of night, right? I think the scientists individually were freaked out. Who wouldn't be? These veiled and not so veiled threats, massive stress. And I'm sure some thinking, oh, God, there's no way out of here. And look, this is all to hide.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Right, the Hermit, it's all to hide their work.
Yes.
Or they wanted them to step away and either work for them, keep doing the work, but it doesn't go out for the public good, or burying the work.
Yes.
But these are very dark cards.
Very dark, as are mine.
So we're not imagining it, but there is this crossroads where I think carrot and stick. You could be rich.
Yeah.
You've just got to give us all your findings.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. I think there were the lure and then, the punishment if you don't comply.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of victims and a lot of heroes in this world, and these scientists among them.
Exactly. And I think we're due and overdue for a pendulum swing. And I think hideous and scary and stressful as this time is, please know that on the other side, I really think there's better options on the table. The progressive voice has to come forward. It's been battered into submission, first of all, by the MAGA adults and things, demonizing, whether it's a gay person or a drag queen or a black person, that shallow level of hatred that runs deep, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It comes not from experience, so it's shallow, but it runs deep.
Yep.
And then on top of that, everything is rotten to the core. I just found out yesterday, because I pay very little attention to Australian politics because I'm always in this world. They want to bring a data centre to my city. No.
Wow.
So, yeah, and Australia is far from faultless. We also make armaments. Why would a country like Australia make armaments?
Right.
We
have a lot of decisions to make.
I don't know how I got onto that, but my point is we all have to keep our eye on what we want to see as a better society, a more egalitarian society, right? And my thing's always been, you can be rich, that's fine, not a problem, as long as your workers are paid well and you've paid your subcontractors and everything, then it becomes profit, not screwing everyone to the ground so you can make another $5,
Exactly. Well,
because here we are, sorry, but just said the bottomless greed, the bottomless nature of the
greed. Well, we will have, I'm sure, more to talk about next week. Next week, it'll still be,
because we'll be inching closer
to
the birthday, the World Cup.
Exactly, all of it. Yes. So again,
And so all eyes will be on it too.
all eyes will be on it. In the meantime, when your eyes are not on all that, put your eyes and make sure that you are registered to vote and that you are subscribed to us. Put your eyes there too, and make your plan for your the way you're going to observe the birthday, which is to say no King's Day, which is to say Flag Day. So yeah, make a plan. Don't let it just be like any other day for you. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us, and hi to everyone who sees it later.
Yep, and we will be on our respective channels during the week, and we will see you back here a week from today. So take care, everybody.